person who got on the stage and who spoke outside of the industry of network marketing. And for me, that's what made this event first class. The facility is incredible. The telecast is awesome. But if you don't have the right people, okay, you don't have anything. So I give them another big round of applause for that. Awesome job. You guys have done a phenomenal job. And I appreciate all of you as well for staying. I know it's been a long, maybe 2 days, and I appreciate Jamie for giving me the last 3 hours to close out. So, you know, I've been in the back. You know, I was sitting there taking notes, and for the last hour and a half, I've been getting makeup done. So she told me, she says, man, you need a lot of stuff on that mug of yours, right? But anyway, no, I'm very excited. I had a chance to finally put a face and a face with actually really some of my heroes. I mean, our kickoff speaker that we had today, who started off with the first law, Jason Bournet. I mean, this is honestly one of my childhood heroes in network marketing. I'll never forget. This is 22 years. 22 years I've been sharing this guy's story, and he was an inspiration to me, and he didn't even know it. And we had a chance to meet for the very first time yesterday, and so I'm just proud to even be in the association. And I watched him on stage, and I knew of him. He didn't know of me because I was sitting in the cheap seats while he had a chance to go across stage and speak. And I knew his whole story. It probably would have freaked him out if I told him all the things that I knew without even knowing it, right? Because I listened to his upline, and I listened to everything that was going on, and then having a chance to meet Steve and Pasha Carter. I've known of them, and Pasha's brother, Chris, was one of my heroes in network marketing. I used to always hear this name, and I was like, wow. Every time I would hear this name, it was like, wow. I had a chance to meet and work with him for about 5 years, and just some of the best people that I've ever met. And then meeting them, I see why. And then every other person, I had a chance to meet Mark and Tammy for the first time, and didn't know who they were until they actually got introduced on stage. And we had a conversation in the back, and every other speaker that's come through here, it's been absolutely phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. So I give my hats off to everybody who's had a chance to be here and participate. This, I believe, is going to be one of the best things that our industry has ever been blessed with. How many of you agree to that? I agree with that. You know, before I got up, I received a text message. I'm sitting in the back in the green room, right? And I get this text message from a buddy of mine. He says, hey, man, I'm watching this thing on telecast. Can't wait till you get up there. He said, but there's only one issue. I said, what's the issue? On text message. He says, I can't tell if this is a network marketing event or a church event. And, you know, he's trying to get a little slick at the mouth. And I'm like, well, what's the difference? Think about it. What's the difference, right? You know, I mean, there was a long time ago, about 2,000 years ago, a guy started an organization, right? And what he did is he said, hey, listen, I'm going to go out and build this organization, and he sent them off in twos for those of you who work a binary. Am I right? But there's some of you who work at unilevel. Remember, he did go 12 wide. Am I right? He sponsored 12, right? And he sponsored 12, and guess what? He even had somebody to quit. Oh my God, he had somebody to quit. They quit. And what he did is he said, listen, what we'll do is this. Every week we're going to have an opportunity meeting. Ours on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Back then, it started on Sundays. It still work that way today, right? And then he says, well, I'll tell you what, because we want to grow this thing and these opportunity meetings are going real good, we're going to make sure also these opportunity meetings, we pass out applications. And that's kind of the invitation that the pastor gives at the end. Come if you want to, you know, and then you join, right? And then they take them back and you have somebody give them the orientation. We call it the getting started training. Am I right? And when we get them started, then he's, you know, we said, okay, well, what we're going to do is take you through the getting started training, and then there's going to be a weekly training. They call it Bible study. Okay? Everybody in here's goals to get everybody on auto ship. They call it tithing. It's tithing, right? And you go through enough of those meetings, and every quarter we have is a quarterly regional event, and they call them revivals. Right? so what happened is this: all of us are building this organization, but the guy who started 2,000 years ago has built the largest organization in the history of organizations. It's about 1,200,000,000 people active. Am I right? Am I right? So I told him I don't know what the difference is. I just found out that it worked. It actually did work. And so today, with all the speakers, and for those of you who are watching from home, number one, I applaud you as well. You've got some endurance as well. I applaud you as well. And I know this is going all over the entire world. And I had a chance to talk with Nate. He's just telling me a little of the secrets of what it's going to be in the future and stuff like that, a little bit of the vision. It's amazing that when you just take that little ripple effect of what happens from that first drop, of how big it actually can get. But this wasn't a little drop. I think this was a boulder that was just dropped in the middle, and it's gonna go out and multiply. Anybody ever heard that word, multiply? Right? It's gonna multiply. But anyway, I'm honored that I was even given a phone call by a good buddy of mine, and he's up there, and he and his wife are up there, Jeremy, and he called me up and he texted me first, and he's like, because he know I don't speak, I don't like doing speaking engagements at all, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But he called me, texted me up, he says, hey man, listen, hadn't heard from you in a while, but listen, he says, I know you don't speak, okay, but there's an opportunity, John Maxwell, yes, I'll do it. When is it? When should I book the calendar? And that's kind of how it went, right? That's kind of how it went. And so I'm honored to be here, obviously, to share a platform with all of these great leaders and speakers that we have, and obviously John Maxwell, and the purpose for which he's actually doing his business and doing what it is that he does. This for me is incredible. I don't speak. I don't accept speaking engagements because and I'm not against it. I'll be honest with you and tell you my biggest reason. And some of you won't believe this. You have to ask my wife right here to really validate this, because she won't lie for me. She didn't even lie when the creditors used to call. You know, I tell her, say, honey, tell him I'm not at home. She say, well, he told me to tell y'all he's not at home. But anyway, but I honestly, I don't do it because I don't like speaking. This is one of my biggest fears. One of my biggest fears is speaking in front of people. Still to this day, it's one of the biggest fears that I deal with. And people say, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And I'll tell you this, just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you're not afraid of it. Okay? And I don't consider myself to be so great or good or whatever it is, because I don't speak from a plan. I watched everybody up here, and honestly, I was in awe. And I'm sitting there taking all of these notes. Yesterday, I took 14 pages of notes. Today, I haven't even counted the number I took, because I started taking notes on my phone because it said no photography, and I was taking notes and take a picture of my notes yesterday. And but I'm sitting up there, and I'm amazed at all of the different speakers who come up, and I'm watching them talk about how organized their life is. And I'm watching them talk about how they have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step to success with this, and how they get this together, and I'm sitting there like, am I just lucky that I made money in this? Because I'm like, I can't do what it is that they do. And so part of my message is for those of you who are sitting here saying, you know what, these people are incredible, but what about me? What about me? How can I get on the road to personal development? How can I grow my organization and change things up as well? How can I do that? And so my message is for you as well, because if I had to have my life in order, if I had to wake up and knew exactly what I was going to do today, I'm not saying that's bad. I think it's great. I just can't do it. I can't do it. My brain doesn't learn that way. It never has learned that way. And so I figured out to be okay with me. I figured out that, this dude here was not a bad dude, that, you know what, if you learn you and you master, you take you and then take this industry that we have here, and you can take this industry and you can weave a little bit of you, the best of you, inside this industry, and you can still pull out some great results. And that's what we've been able to do. That's exactly what we've done. And so what I don't want you to do is I don't want any of you to get discouraged thinking, wow, you know what, I've got to be able to sit on the stool like John Maxwell and spit wisdom just out of thin air. I can't do that either. And you don't have to be as smooth and as debonair as Jason was as he delivered his talk. And you don't have to have the confidence, and I'm missing the first name again, I'm sorry. Becky, and I'm standing up here like Johnny's created a new law called the law of confidence as she spoke. And I watched one of the most important talks that I thought that was delivered today by Jordan and Christian Kemper. I watched them on the stage, and how many people would have the audacity to go out to 100,000 people and say, I cross-recruited. Right? Because, see, we're all sitting on these secrets in here, right? Everybody's got all these secrets that we're sitting on, and we try to get in this business, and guess what we want to do? We want to get on this stage, and here's the perfect me. If you be perfect like me, you can make money. That work that way. We've been doing this now for a few years. This year made my 26th anniversary in the business, in this industry. My wife got started with me, but it's only her 10. Okay? 26 years we've been doing this, all right? And you guys know my first 7 years were interesting. Okay, any of you want to have tax write-offs? I had a lot of tax write-offs. Okay, no profit zone, but a lot of tax write-offs. And I think back and I wonder how and why was it the case? Why was it that 26 years ago I came to an opportunity meeting? Here I was, I'm a college student, and I was a freshman in college. I'm all excited about becoming the world's greatest engineer, all right? Because my mom told me,